that dog ain't coming out, bro. That knows better. So here's what the failure in our systems. After giving this a lot of thought and effort throughout the years, and here's the conclusion I come to. Your government's supposed to represent you, whether or not even if it's not the person that you voted for, you have inalienable rights, two baby rights, that cannot be violated by your government. And when your government walks along those lines and it actually represents you, then realistically, it doesn't matter who the government is, because they can't do things that violate your rights, like tax you to fucking death, which is extortion. They can't, push these unconstitutional gun laws. They can't start, initiate, promote, expand policing forces that are unconstitutional, which is all of them. If your rights mattered, who was in office wouldn't matter. The fail point was when your rights no longer mattered. That was the fail point in the entire system. That was when people should have said, hey, enough is enough. We're not playing this back and forth game. We're not going to the Democrat Republican shit. No, we're not doing it. I mean, your Supreme Court, the ones that, are the sole arbiters of all things constitutional in 2025, because it's no longer the people. The people are not, the people are supposed to be the sole arbiters. It's our contract. No, it's 9 justices. And I just heard somebody talking about it, and they were like, the Supreme Court is now made up of 6 conservatives and 3 liberals. It shouldn't matter. That right there is how the entire system has failed at that point, because your rights no longer matter. What matters is the group narrative, the group think, the sheep think, the hive think, whatever you want to call it, flock think. That's what matters now, and they walk those lines. Your rights no longer matter. No. There to represent people. It's just not. The federal government has a duty to protect your life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. If you have could the founders imagine that one day we know, the sex of babies, within weeks after conceived? Probably not. However, if they would have, I would 100% guarantee you that they would say, this government, since those kids are going to be on this land, beholden to the social laws, this government has a responsibility to protect those children's lives. And they just don't. They threw that shit out the window too. And that has nothing to do with conservative or liberal. That's fucking common sense, if you ask me. Common sense on one side, is complete insanity to the other. But that's how you know to get the keys to your car. They in it. That's how you know the system has failed and it's time for something different or a revamp of the system. But the problem is, whenever we have this conversation about revamping the system, back car up here. Get up here by my truck. When we talk about fixing the system, is that the ones that are going to be fixing it, right, are going to have all these current things in mind, like policing forces and shit like that. It's too late. It's basically the end game of it. You're not going to fix it. I'm not going to be the one in office. If I was, I'm going to be king for dad. Say, hey, everybody's free, and all of our laws are going to be based on freedom. Period. We're not going to violate anybody's rights, and that's just how it is. If you want to have an abortion, go shove a coat hanger, pussy. Other than that, you ain't getting it. The bitch made the choice when she spread her legs. There was your choice. Keep your legs together. But no, they just want to have promiscuous sex and fuck everybody in the world. And then when they get knocked up, say, oh my gosh, this child is going to be too much of a burden. Well, you should have thought about that. Now, with that said, I'm not for welfare either. If you have a child you can't afford, I fully support letting that child die in your home in front of you because you allowed it to starve to death because you're too fucking lazy to get off your ass and go get a fucking job. Or for that matter, go stand on the corner with a sign. I mean, we live in a time where people are making $100,000 a year standing at exits with a sign. Totally bullshitting people. I used to ride around when I had money. There was a time when I wasn't poor. I wasn't a poor. And I always carried a bunch of cash on me like an idiot, $3 or $4 or $5, $10,000 at a time. And I'd pull up to people like at the exit ramp in Cincinnati. I just, get one of those moods. I want to go, make somebody's day better. And it was normally junkies because I understand how hard of a day they can have. And I'd pull up and be like, hey, just tell me the truth. What are you gonna do with this money? If they bullshit me, be like, oh, I'm gonna buy something to eat, or what? Fuck, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you no money. If you just say, hey man, I'm dope sick and I want to go get high, I'd give you some money. Um, so some of them figured it out. And then I'd see them out again. I'd ask them. They'd be like, hey, we gonna go do this money? I'm gonna get high. Well, here you go. But anyway, I'm not for stealing from one to give to another. I'm really not for stealing from one to give to another based on who's in office. And the thing is this, is the government doesn't ever retract this. We're still paying taxes on cobblestone roads in 2025. You know what? The only cobblestone road I've ever driven on is in Cincinnati. It's about 200 yards long right in front of the music hall. But we're still paying taxes for those roads that don't exist. They never take off. They always add on, just like people are all up in arms about this NFA bullshit. Listen, with the forced reset trigger, the courts ruled on that bullshit. The NFA it's a bullshit. At this point, it's just about registration. They want to know who has what, because when they come to your door stacked 5, 10, 15 deep, and they decide they want to kill you, Brian Malinowski, they don't want you to have the means to fight back, because with their training, the only possibility of you winning that is with things that they don't want you to have. What's up? Did you get a move?
Dead.
Huh?
Battery's dead.
Battery's dead?
Yeah.
Put charge on it.
Strong power. I mean,
pull the stitch cord down there and put charge on it. Just one thing after another. But with the Supreme Court, started that political bullshit. People should have said, no, we're done playing this game. But they didn't. They fucking doubled down and bought into it. We're in there make Israel, or I should say make Israel great again, but it's make America great again bullshit. Now it's not even that. Now it's the MAGA people. Like, get the fuck out of here. Who calls themselves MAGA? Does people really do that? Is that really a thing where you're like, I'm MAGA? I mean, like, how fucking lost can you possibly be? Same thing on Facebook where this crazy bitch. Of course, it's about cops, and I forget the post or whatever. I left a comment. Some lady comes back at me with, who you going to call when your family is getting. How does she word it? When your family is getting attacked by somebody, who you going to call? I was like, well, it ain't going to be the police, because if I'm calling the police, that means you're just coming to clean me up. You understand that by you calling the police when your family is attacked, you've already failed on multiple fucking levels. You failed you failed your kids, you failed your husband, you failed everybody. Not a concern of mine. What is a concern of mine is that people are getting, harassed on the roadside, or worse than that. I think it was over a chase. People are getting chased. It's not bad enough that one dude that doesn't know how to drive is going 100 miles an hour. Now you got some asshole that's chasing him doing 130, trying to catch him, that don't know how to fucking drive. Tennessee, they bought some either confiscated or bought some Mustangs. Ain't no special Mustangs. They're not like GT 500s, no shit like that. They're just some like Mustang GTs, and they put the state trooper. And their excuse for buying these cars was so we can keep up with these supercharged race cars. Literally what it said. So we can catch these supercharged race cars. And I comment, I'm like, okay, let's play the sheep mind, the sheep game. So you have a supercharged race car passing you. You need a car that will obviously do 130, 140, 180 miles an hour to catch up with this car. That may or may not stop when it sees you. Most people are probably going to stop, because most people are in the mindset that, oh, this guy has authority over me, so I must stop. But to have another asshole on the road that's going 100, going faster than what he is, because you got to think the cop's probably at a dead stop or going the opposite way when this car goes by. If that guy's still on it, how fast does that second asshole have to go to catch up with him? And now you have people like, when you're driving down the road, you're driving down the interstate, and some dickhead passes you just on some stupid shit, right? Your focus is now on that car. You're not focused on the asshole that's running up behind you. It's just a bad move all around, but you had people like, yay, how big is a problem street racing in Tennessee on state highways? Anybody want to tell me? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. Even when I was into street racing when I was younger in Tennessee, it wasn't done on state highways. And if it was, there wasn't a bunch of people around. They went to Valley on like 63 or on Old Highway 63, and when nobody was around. I mean, you're not street racing in rush hour traffic. It's just not happening. Please, what are you pleasing about? Ford F-150. Yeah. Forward in what voice? How blessed my life is? What are you talking about? I have no idea how blessed my life is. What do you mean? So, if I get kicked in the balls once versus getting kicked in the balls twice, I'm blessed because I only got kicked in the balls once. That makes sense, don't it? No, that don't make no sense at all. That's the whole mentality. Like your vote is, if you don't vote, you're just giving the other party a vote, whatever you know. And you got both people telling you this. Well, I'm not voting for either one of you motherfuckers. I'm over here. That's where my vote's at. My vote is not engaging in the bullshit that you all engage in. Where it's all really, it's all. Here's what it all boils down to: government committing acts of force and violence on people that you want them to. That's what it is. Which way is the force and violence going to go? And the truth is that it doesn't matter. The truth is that when you vote, force and violence is enacted on all of us. That cops don't give a fuck if you're liberal. They don't care if you're conservative. They don't care if you're out of the picture like I am. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be forced on you. And to me, it's insane. It's insane to me that in the freest country in the world, we have to pay to go to work. That we have to pay to have a mutual transaction with somebody else, where government's not involved in any of this shit. None of it. Government creates nothing. Everything they have, they steal through force and violence. Well, we become a society that not only supports it. What's that old? What's the old quote? Uh, when plunder becomes a way of life for a man within a group of society, with it, when plunder becomes a way of life by a man in a group by a group of men in a society, they will create a laws that moralize it and will have a society that glorifies it. Is that what it is? Something to that effect. That's true as shit in the world, man. And that's what's happening in our country. It is fucked. 10 ways from Sunday. It is screwed. How much infinitely better would your family's life be if you just got to keep the money that you worked for? Just that. I'll tell you how much better. 30% better, at least. Minimum 30% better. If you got your own business, probably about 60% better. It's insane. Absolutely insane to me. And then we've allowed these monopolies to take over. We have monopoly laws for a reason. So shit that's happening today could not happen where people, because I'm a firm believer that, and maybe I'm wrong, could be wrong. I'm wrong sometimes. I'm a firm believer that a group of people got together, all tiny hats, a few families, and with the money that they had, decided to dictate politics throughout the world on a longer timeline where their grandchildren, great grandchildren would run shit, right? I mean, you've had Netanyahu in Israel trying to get the United States to fucking blow up Iran for decades now, man. Decades. Same dude. These people are evil. They need, they're they got uh oh shit, what are they called? I can't say it. Centrifuges. Um, who cares? Who cares if they do? We got them. Who cares? Israel's got them. Who cares? Ain't nobody's over anybody else. But then our country, we have these fucking idiots voting these people in office that think we're big brother. So you know what? They're going to send their kids to go fight a war. You know what? You want to go to fight a war with Afghanistan again or one of those other countries? How about you prove it? How about your ass goes over there and fires the first shot? Better yet, send your fucking kids over there and fire the first shot. How about we do that from now on? If you're going to start a war, you have to send your family, your entire fucking lineage. That way, if you all get killed, your whole family's wiped off the face of the earth forever, and can't be no dumb shit like that happen again, at least from your family. And you guys are the first ones to go. If you believe in it that much, that this war should be fought, send your fucking family. I don't care if you're 60. I don't care if you're fucking 90. You got an old dusty pussy. I don't care if you're 16. I don't care. Send them all. Show us how much you believe in these wars. If you vote for them, you vote for these people, fuck it. Be the first in line. Go, please. Go. I'm not for it. My kids ain't going. If they did a draft today, you would not find my kids anywhere. And I would fight to the death to keep them from going. Bet your ass on that shit. Oh, we 100% we're letting it happen. Well, 100% we are, man. Been allowing it to happen. Been allowing it to happen for decades. This country ain't that bad. You know what? Here's the thing. Again, if I only get kicked in the nuts once, is that better than get kicked in the nuts in the 5 times? Probably, but I still shouldn't be getting kicked in the nuts once. I mean, that whole mentality or way of thinking is just completely wrong. Well, it's better than this shit, but it's not as good as it's supposed to be. It's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, you live in the land of the free and home of the brave, and you never can own a home. Ever. Ever. There's not like a loophole. There's not a paper you can sign. You can't opt out. No. Government decided it owns this shit. You're going to pay a lease on it, and if you don't, they're going to do bad shit to you. I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with that. This isn't what it's supposed to be. This isn't what it's supposed to be like. But everybody believes it is because it's the way it is. And you can't talk them out of that because there's so many people that buy into it. The few who know better are forced to play along it to some degree. I mean, none of it makes any sense. Make it make sense. You make it make sense, and maybe I'll buy into it. Till then, it just don't make any sense. DB Cooper's here. What's up, DB? Where's he at? I haven't seen him in a long time. There's nowhere better to live, dude. You're missing the point, bro. It has nothing to do with that. It's not about what's good and bad, what's better or worse. It's that we're here. We're here. We allegedly created a government to represent us and to protect life, liberty, and property. It has turned inward on us. It has now started a war with us fucking decades ago. And we are now slaves to that government. I mean, you okay being a slave if you're, the house nigger or the field nigger? It's better to be the house nigger, yeah. Are you still happy with being a slave? That's what it comes down to. No, I'm not. And the truth of the matter is that they tell you you're the house nigger. You're still the field nigger. That's the way that is. Why? You got to pay to go to work. You got to pay to get to work. You got to pay for the fuel to get to work. You got to pay for your food. You got to pay. This is all taxes, is what I'm talking about. I mean, you never own your home. They give you just enough, let you have enough of an illusion to where you believe that you're free, so that you'll keep playing along with the game, saying, "Well, it's better than other places. It ain't that bad." Yeah, it is, man. The day you wake up and realize you're a slave, you actually realize it. The day you really think about how everything in your life is dictated by some fucking bastard with a pen, and then enforcers with guns who will kill you if you don't do what they say. Talk about the people with pens. You don't do what the people with pens say. These other people will kill you for 17, 18 bucks an hour. And you realize where that ends at. What can I do? And I'm totally free from that. And you realize it's nothing. You can do nothing where you're free from that. And then it hits you that, hey, I'm truly a slave. I'm more of a slave than those, at least those in the 1800s in the 1860s or shit 1830s I would argue that slaves in the 1830s have more freedom than we do today. And when I say that, people are like, "You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. I get to get up and go to work. I can go fucking feed my face at McDonald's. I can do all this stuff." You know what? Slaves in the 1830s got to stay there. They got to reason, and it wasn't as bad as they act like it is. I know. I mean, slavery is horrible. Don't get me wrong. However, they went out there beating their slaves in the field because they need the slaves to work. Healthy slaves was the goal. To me, it's insanity. I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? But it's this way because of that line of thought. It's not so bad. It is bad. And it's going to be worse for your kids. And it's going to be worse for their kids. My kids, if they don't start right now, they will never own a home. If I don't leave them something, they will never own anything. I mean, have the illusion of ownership because I don't own this shit. This ain't my property I pay for. It's the government's. And if I don't pay them their ransom every February, then in about 2 Februarys, they'll say, well, we're going to sell this shit to somebody that will pay us. It's no longer yours. Even though all your blood, sweat, and tears went into paying for it, all your hours away from your family and your children went into paying for it, it's still our shit. We're going to come take it. And if you don't leave, we're going to kill you. The sentence for every law in this country, the land is free, home of the brave, the sentence for every law in this country, if you expound on it, go far enough with it, is death. Doesn't matter if it's a seatbelt ticket, a jaywalking ticket, you're a public intox, you're fucking drinking, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Littering, doesn't matter. Murder. Doesn't matter. Well, how is that? You don't wear your seatbelt. They just extort you for $75. Okay, don't pay them. Then they suspend your license that you got to have to drive on a public fucking road that you pay for in a car that you pay for with fuel that you pay for. All that shit already being taxed. You need a license to do that. So when they do, they suspend your license because you didn't pay the $75 ticket because it means so much, right? Then you go out and drive again, and then they try to stop you because you didn't pay this ticket, and now you don't have no license. Your license is suspended. And you decide, you know what? I'm not going to let I'm not going to let them kidnap me today over me deciding not wearing a seatbelt that only affects me. Make an argument that me not wearing a seatbelt affects anybody else. Well, oh my God, the paramedics that have to show up anyway if you're in an accident might have to carry your fucking body off. You know what? It just saved money from having to go to the ER, to the trauma ward. Like, there's no argument to be made. They figure out every way in the world to tax us and fuck us, and some people are just okay with it, and I'm just not. But it all boils down to you no longer have rights. Your rights are an illusion. I know, and I, like as an ideal, it sounds good, unalienable rights. If there's millions of people in this country that have the unalienable right to keep and bear arms, yet government has said if you keep and bear arms, we're going to kill you for doing it. I'm sorry, it's all fuckery, all of it. All right, I got to roll. I got some shit to do. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. Stay away from the popo. They'll fucking kill you.